CTV Edmonton. Local breaking news with Evan Kenny.
Good evening. A Mountie is recovering from minor injuries after arresting 4 people in a stolen truck in Gibbons earlier this week. RCMP say the officer was briefly dragged by the truck during the arrest, which was all captured on his body camera. It was a little past midnight early Tuesday morning when an officer from the Morinville detachment ran the plates on the truck at the Shell gas station in Gibbons and determined it was stolen. 4 people were inside. Body camera footage shows the moment the officer told them they were under arrest.
The license plate that got stolen, the truck, out of Woodland County. Both you guys will be detained for possession of stolen property and licenses and IDs.
Soon after, the driver put the truck in reverse and the officer jumped inside the cab to avoid being struck by the open passenger door. He managed to take it out of gear and remove the keys as the truck coasted backwards into a tree. The driver then grabbed something from between the front seats and got out of the truck.
He has a gun! Oh, what was that? I have nothing. Show me your hands.
We take lots of steps to mitigate the risk, but ultimately you can't necessarily anticipate every single risk. So there's always still lots of times when officers are approaching unknown situations by themselves.
The officer later determined the object was a sawed-off shotgun, which was thrown into the bed of the truck. A search turned up a small amount of meth and fentanyl, as well as a fake bill of sale for the truck and ammo for the shotgun. RCMP say violence against officers happens every day in Alberta. Assaults with a weapon or causing bodily harm are up 23% since 2023. All 4 people are facing multiple charges, including possession of stolen property, weapon, and drug offenses. Less than 2 weeks after being let out on bail, a man is facing numerous charges after police say he went on a crime spree in northwest Edmonton. Police say earlier this month a white car was stolen just before noon. Later that day, it was involved in a hit and run near 123rd Avenue and 90th Street, injuring a cyclist. Police say minutes later, the driver stabbed a man near 132nd Avenue and 83rd Street, seriously injuring him. Police arrested 32-year-old Cody Slade Desjardins the next day. He faces a dozen charges, including attempted murder. Police say Desjardins did not know the victims. Officers also say he was out on bail at the time. Desjardins was charged in connection with a crash in October. 4 people were hurt, including a child and Desjardins. CTV News obtained video from that crash. Police said a black car ran a red light and smashed into another car. That crash site is just a block away from this month's stabbing. Police say Desjardins is now in custody. A motorcyclist is dead after a crash yesterday evening, marking the 21st death on Edmonton roads this year. It happened just before 6 near 82nd Street and 167th Avenue. Police say a car was stopped at a green light waiting to turn left. The motorcycle was going straight through the intersection when it struck the front passenger wheel of the car. The motorcyclist was thrown from the bike. Police say despite CPR on scene, the 25-year-old rider died. Officers believe he was speeding. A man from Edmonton is facing charges after border officers found dozens of kilograms of cocaine in a truck bound for Canada. On Monday, officers at the Coots border searched a commercial truck entering from the United States. The Canada Border Service Agency says it found a duffel bag with 67 kilograms of cocaine inside. A 49-year-old man is facing a number of charges, including importing a controlled substance and smuggling into Canada. Parkland RCMP say its detachment in Spruce Grove is closed while police investigate a potential explosive device. RCMP say it was surrendered at the detachment. Officers from the Alberta RCMP Explosive Disposal Unit are being deployed. Police say there is no risk to the public or to police. It appears Edmontonians are not getting the message. You need to wear a life jacket while floating down the river. Park rangers have given hundreds of warnings since the change came into effect this spring. They say if it floats, it's a boat and a life jacket needs to be worn.
If it's mandatory now, it's for a reason, and it's usually around safety and wellness.
In the past, you just needed to have a life jacket with you, not on you. Now, if you're not wearing it, you could get a $250 ticket. So far this year, park rangers have given out 1 ticket and nearly 500 warnings. Rangers are also looking for other missing items from people floating or boating.
We do go ahead and make sure they have the rest of their safety equipment gear and they're in compliance and within the guidelines of Transport Canada. So they have to make sure they have a safety bucket, a bailer, a throw line, a whistle, as well as license numbers, and have a Pleasurecraft operator's card on their person as well.
Outside of city limits, boaters don't have to wear a life jacket, but 1 per person has to be on board. The peace officer we spoke with says the North Saskatchewan is flowing faster than a typical year. Since this spring, Edmonton Fire Rescue has been called 24 times for people needing help on the river. Summer vacations can often mean renting a car in another province or country. Different companies and jurisdictions can all have their own rules about who they'll rent to, including age limits. CTV's Pat Foran explains.
My whole mission in this is just to let people know.
Carol Ann and John Jenisak of Oakville recently visited with family in British Columbia. Before they left, they made sure to book a rental car. But when they got to the rental counter in Victoria, they got a surprise.
When John handed her his driver's license, she said, "Oh dear, I'm sorry, but we can't rent to you because you're over 79. Which we had never heard of before.
Carol Ann was still 79 for another 3 months, so luckily she was able to rent the car as long as she did the driving, and John, who is 85, didn't get behind the wheel. The couple says the situation could have been worse.
If you had a trip arranged and you put deposits on hotels, that could be quite costly.
The Jenisaks rented a car with National Car Rental, whose parent company is Enterprise Mobility. A spokesperson told CTV News the National Car Rental branch in Victoria, BC, sets its own policies and procedures. Their age requirements for rental are outlined on their website under key facts and policies when you begin a reservation. Every rental company is different, and some don't have age restrictions, but some do. You could be denied a rental car if you're over 79 years of age, over 70 outside of Canada, if you're younger than 21 or 25 years old, if you have limited driving experience, have a bad credit rating, if you don't present a valid driver's license, or you don't have the proper form of payment. Most rental companies won't accept cash without a credit card on file. Last year, CTV News did a story with Brian Barnard of Etobicoke, who was denied a car rental because he wanted to pay with a prepaid credit card.
It was frustrating to go all the way there and then to be told that, you won't take my form of payment.
If you're planning to rent a car, you'll want to check the fine print to make sure your trip goes as planned.
Former Oilers captain Jason Smith is the new head coach of the Edmonton Oil Kings. Smith was the captain of the Oilers for 5 seasons and helped lead them to the 2006 Stanley Cup final. He previously coached in the WHL with the Kelowna Rockets and Prince George Cougars. He was also an assistant coach for the Philadelphia Flyers farm team in the American Hockey League. Smith says he's looking forward to coaching again.
I got a feel that coming back to the Western League would be a lot of fun. I think I've had experience in coaching in a lot of different levels and in different situations where I've worked with really good people, and I just thought it was a great time to get back as a head coach in the Western League. What better place than here in Edmonton, where I spent a huge part of my hockey life.
The Edmonton Oil Kings finished 7th in the WHL's Eastern Conference last year. Local Olympian Michelle Plof is preparing to move from the basketball court to the bench starting this weekend. Plof led the Team Canada to a silver medal at the 2022 FIBA 3x3 World Cup and a fourth-place finish at the Paris Olympics. This weekend, she'll be honored during the FIBA 3x3 Women's Series on Saturday at West Edmonton Mall. Following her retirement announcement earlier this week, she'll also be making her debut as Canada Basketball's 3x3 Performance Manager.
It's just kind of the closing of a chapter, opening of the next one, which I'm excited about. So working with the national teams in a different capacity from a staff role.
Hoop City 3x3 Festival says this weekend will showcase the world's top players. Team Canada hopes to take its fourth consecutive win in the Women's Series. The festival runs until Sunday. Admission is free. The new owner of the old Army and Navy building says people are going to start noticing some changes very soon. The White Avenue landmark has sat empty for years. Edmontonians looking through the dusty windows would be forgiven for thinking there isn't much happening. As CTV's Connor Hogg found out, that won't be the case for long.
It's a busy afternoon on White Ave. Most areas are bustling with activity. Sydney Jenkins is visiting from out of town. She noticed this stretch of street is conspicuously quiet.
Kind of takes away from the rest of the vibe that White Ave tries to give, especially with the graffiti and all the sold out stuff.
The Army and Navy department store closed in 2020. Leader Investments bought the building last summer. While there have been some delays, Kevin Peterson says change is coming soon.
We're excited to bring it on, and we're chomping at the bit just like everybody else.
Peterson says another group came along wanting to buy the project outright, so interior work was halted. That buyout fell through. Now, Leader is planning on moving ahead itself. Units are up for sale, and permits are pending. Leader's wish list includes retail, restaurants, and a rooftop patio.
We have to get a building permit, obviously, so that permit's already in. We're ordering materials. We're getting everything ready so that we can launch it as quickly as possible. The intention is that as part of our first phase one, is we're redoing the whole front facade.
The city has approved a storefront improvement grant for the project, so more money can be spent on that front facade.
We want to continue to invest in the storefronts, including the heritage storefronts that give this neighborhood such character. For a number of years, it's been a missing tooth in our smile.
Area Councillor Michael Jans says White Ave has been slow to rebound from the pandemic. Jans says with new apartments going up nearby, revitalizing buildings like this is something everyone wants to see.
It's something that I think is an ongoing consideration. We have a Heritage Places strategy coming forward, whether it's directly funds or support in some other way.
Peterson says he speculates Edmontonians will see work start in the next 3 to 4 months.
Do you think it's safe to say that this is going to be the last summer where we, see it looking quite like this?
Yes.
A sight many say is long overdue. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Canmore is expanding its fruit tree removal program. The town will now cover the cost of replacing trees in addition to removing them. The new initiative is thanks to money from the G7 for legacy projects. The town says the #1 reason bears in the Bow Valley have been relocated or killed is because of fruit trees. Canmore has been encouraging homeowners and businesses to get rid of the attractants since 2019. A dedicated team of gardeners is helping to keep history alive at an Alberta landmark. The gardens at Lougheed House have a variety of plants and flowers laid out similarly to what the gardens would have looked like in the late 1800s. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, more than a dozen volunteers work in the space. Head gardener Jane Rexon says the gardens wouldn't look as good as they do if it wasn't for the work of the volunteers. She says the space in Calgary's downtown provides the perfect growing conditions. Coming up next, the buzz surrounding a university student's research. And quality over quantity, how a Red Deer man's artwork landed in McDonald's locations across the country.
I'm very happy because I did not expect this one.
Good evening, folks. 30 degrees for a daytime high today, and unlike yesterday, this one actually did break the 30-degree mark. It was 29.8 yesterday, 30.1 today, and it looks even hotter tomorrow. We'll look at that and your long weekend forecast in just a few minutes.
An Edmonton University student is spending her summer among the bees. She's trying to get a better understanding of how highway corridors next to cropland impact their population. As CTV's Amanda Anderson reports, her goal is to see what, if anything, should be done to better manage these roadside areas to help bees.
Throughout the summer, you'll find Shay Giesbrecht trekking along roadside ditches. The University of Alberta master's student has 22 traps set up along highways near Edmonton.
They had to be highways that were single lane, ranging between 4,000 and 7,000 vehicles per day, as well as next to cropland, both across the highway as well as adjacent to the highway.
She's trying to find out the ecological role environments like these have on Alberta bees.
How flowers and shelter belts, which are strips of trees next to cropland, possibly impact either negatively or positively native bees.
Each site has 2 tent-like traps to capture insects from all directions.
So we can see if they're coming across the highway, going to the highway, or traveling along the highway. They'll fly in this way, get caught in here, and for a lot of insects, their instinct is to fly up when they're trapped. So because this leads all the way up here, they get caught into this top bottle, they get exhausted, and then they fall into this propylene glycol.
These other traps will also help measure bee numbers and species. She also keeps a close eye on what's growing along these ditches.
We will do a floral survey, so we count how many flowers and see what species are here. And then within those flowers, we'll actually use nets to catch insects that we see landing on them.
Giesbrecht says her work will not hurt the bee population. Instead, her findings could provide vital information to help benefit them.
For growers or landowners, we can either tell them to continue supporting or plant shelter belts, or maybe discourage them from planting further shelter belts if they end up being negative. Native bees are incredibly important for growers. They actually contribute $2.8 billion to Canadian farmers annually. So we need to find ways to better support them.
Her research may also give roadside management better insight into when is the best time for mowing. Giesbrecht will continue to collect data until the end of August. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, near Pigeon Lake.
A new generative artificial intelligence tool is aiming to provide some much-needed support for Alberta farmers and food producers. The online tool, called Root, is built by Farm Credit Canada and available for free on its website. The tool translates decades of research, field experiences, and proven practices into timely advice that producers can use immediately. The company says it's designed to give producers fast, reliable support when making decisions on farms.
It's a real variety of everything. So we've got producers who are taking pictures of crops and asking Root to help diagnose with the disease that they might be faced with and how they could treat it. Taking pictures of farm equipment to try to understand what the part is and how they could fix it, where they could even find that part nearest them. And then also just some of the basic information around grants that might be out there that they're eligible to apply for.
Root is available in English and French and includes voices to text and image recognition. Artwork created by a man in Red Deer will be featured at McDonald's locations across the country. Richard C. is one of 17 McDonald's employees chosen as part of the Made at McDonald's campaign. It highlights artistic talent from McDonald's workers nationwide. His painting, Quality, will be featured on tray maps and billboards. The piece represents his commitment to customer service. C. has worked at McDonald's for more than 3 decades. He worked in the fine arts department in the Philippines before moving to Canada in 2023. He says he feels lucky to be selected.
I'm very happy because I did not expect this one. When I was in high school, I joined different competition when it comes to art, but I never won any single competition.
C has been an artist for nearly 40 years and says it doesn't matter how slow you go as long as you don't stop. Still ahead, it's not just the weather heating up. One artist workshop. Next, a behind-the-scenes look at how a local glassblower makes her magic.
It is currently 39 degrees, right where we're working.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Welcome back. 18 degrees this morning, 5 degrees above average, 6 degrees above average for the daytime highs. We got to 30.1, so just over a degree off the record from 2021. This will officially be our 6th 30-degree day of the year. Hottest day is still May 29th, 32.7. But there you see 3 in May, none in June, and now 3 30-degree days in July. Could see another 1 or 2 in August, as temperatures tomorrow should be up around 31 and about 30 for a daytime high on Saturday. So heat warning remains in effect for all the areas in pink. That'll be in place for at least 1 more day tomorrow, maybe another one Saturday. You've got a chance of showers, thunderstorms up around the high-level region overnight and through the early morning hours tomorrow. Some of those move east into northeastern Alberta tomorrow afternoon, but the main focus for thunderstorms in the afternoon hours will be in the same spots we had them the last couple of days. Today and yesterday, you had thunderstorms through the foothills that just kind of fizzled out in the early evening in western Alberta. I think tomorrow night, these may track a little further northeast. They'll still stay well west of the Edmonton area, but up in the Whitecourt region, Edson, maybe as far east as around Evansburg, Swan Hills region as well. You'll get some Friday evening thunderstorms. Saturday, partly cloudy skies, still hot here in the Edmonton region, and most of the more organized shower and thunderstorm activity does look like it's going to avoid the Edmonton area for Friday, but for Saturday rather, but Saturday night you might see a hit and miss shower or thunderstorm in the area. 16 in Fort McMurray tomorrow morning, 14s for Grand Prairie, Red Deer, Lloydminster, and about 17 degrees in Edmonton. Daytime highs tomorrow, again, not quite as hot as today, but into the low 30s across the north, 29 or 30 for Red Deer, Lloydminster, Coronation, and in Jasper, where you may see some late day thunderstorms. This is going to be pretty hit and miss, so it's a 30% chance. Sunday, Monday, at this point doesn't look like a real rain out, so temperatures will be low to mid 20s for daytime highs Sunday, Monday, and scattered showers possible both days, especially late Sunday and early Monday. And those temperatures are still right around average for early next week, just not quite as hot as tomorrow and Saturday. That is your forecast.
The hot weather we're experiencing has a pair of local artists handling the heat in different ways. One is focusing on winter weather. The other needs heat to do her job, although even she admits the current temps are a little much. CTV's Nariman Issa has more.
It's 40 degrees.
At this glass-blowing studio, getting a reprieve from the heat is tough. The temperature is even hotter in front of the oven. It's 1,100 degrees Celsius inside.
But I mean, you're working with lava. It's supposed to be hot.
Trying to keep cool is key when working with intense heat.
We take breaks. We take cool off. You just, I mean, you almost temporize to the heat. You know, it's kind of, you just pretend you're like living in a hotter country. Like your body gets used to doing it a little bit more.
Leah Cudell spends hours working in the heat. When temperatures soar outside, keeping cool and hydrated is important.
Fans, obviously, lots of water, lots of bubbly. We drink fizzy water like it's going out of style. We also just douse our head in cold water.
From the heat to the snow, this artist's inspiration comes from the cold.
I don't necessarily love winter. I'm not a snow bunny. I'm not out there snowshoeing, but it is my favorite season to paint.
A scenic, snowy street, real-life inspiration from her Otwell neighborhood.
Snow is blue and violets in its shadows. It just gives you different depths and different tones of blues.
Even though it's the summer, Ashley Timo started painting this in June.
I think just how cool it is and its color scheme really helps to convey that feeling of being cold.
Back at the studio, there is no escaping the heat.
Just because it's hot doesn't mean we can just like take vacation all summer, sadly.
The return to cold will be a reality in a few months. For now, these artists are channeling winter to get through the next few days. Nariman Issa, CTV News, Edmonton.
St. Albert's Classic Car Show is revving up for its 29th year. Rockin' August is a summertime tradition featuring more than 900 classic cars. It begins Tuesday and runs until Saturday on Belrose Drive. Organizers say the 5-day show is the largest festival of cars and music across Canada.
It's like a block party. People are out on their driveways or in their garages and they're barbecuing and having some wine, and it's a good time. It really brings the community together.
Money raised during the event will go towards diabetes research at the University of Alberta. In the last 29 years, the car show has raised more than $1.6 million. All right, that is all the time we have tonight. Thank you for tuning in, and have a good rest of your night.